Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest is the co-founder and co-owner of Redland Cotton. Founding the company in 2016 alongside her father, Mark Yeager, she has grown the business Redland Cotton from her father's cotton gin office from 2 racks of shelves to a company that directly employs more than 30 people and indirectly employs well over 1,000 Americans across 9 states. Having started with just 2 styles of 100% cotton bed sheets online, she and her father have now expanded their offerings to include quilts, towels, blankets, and ladies, listen up, loungewear, all made from cotton grown on the family farm and manufactured solely in the United States. She is not only a founder and business owner, she's also a wife and a mother of 2 amazing children. She says motherhood has given her a unique perspective as she manages the challenge of business ownership. The empathy and persistence learned in motherhood shows up daily as she continues to manage and grow Redland Cotton. Silhouettes, it is a sheer honor and complete joy. Let's welcome Anna Brakefield to the show. Hello, Anna. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you. All right, so I shared the intro from your bio, but I always like to hand it off to the guest, help our audience and understand more about you and your background. So why don't you share with us a little bit more about the shaping of your silhouette of success with a little more about your background?
Yeah, so my background really starts with art. In high school, I was very into drawing and painting, and I was even, I guess you could say, a little bit entrepreneurial in that regard. When I was in high school, I would take custom portrait orders and I would paint portraits. And I opened my first bank account when I was about 16 with $500 that I made off of my paintings.
Wow.
So that was how it kind of started. And I went to Auburn University in Alabama and I got a degree in graphic design. And from there, I interned at a wonderful place in Birmingham, Alabama. And then I moved to New York City and I worked in advertising there. And I got just amazing ground level experience working for brands like American Express and BMW. And all while I was doing that, I was dating my now husband as he finished his pharmacy school degree at Auburn. And when we got married, we chose Nashville, Tennessee as our compromise city. I always knew I wanted a family, and New York didn't seem like the place that I really wanted to have that family. And so when we got married and we moved to Nashville, I was just feeling very unfulfilled in my work. I wasn't feeling challenged and just kind of felt in a rut. And I think my dad kind of took advantage of that and capitalized on that. And over Christmas in 2015, brought up the idea of us partnering together and creating a business making bedding out of the cotton he's been growing since the early 80s. And my husband and I, have been married for a good, 6 months. And so he was doing his residency at the time. And that obviously sounded like a great opportunity to quit my job and start a business. And really that's the background color on it.
It's poetic that that opportunity that your dad presented you, wise man, over Christmas. What a gift, right? How special is that?
Yeah. You know, and it's so funny. And I know that we can all kind of look back on our lives and things that we've done that we did not intentionally mean to lead us to where we are.
Mm.
I worked very hard in high school and college to be as far away from the farm as possible. I love living in a city. I love the culture. I love all the resources that brings, and that was my goal. Is I wanted to pursue something different than a country life. And that's not to say that a country life is bad, but that was just what my heart wanted. And it's interesting how all of these experiences have led me back to the farm, but in a completely different way. And I'm able to use those skills to really elevate agriculture and kind of bring awareness to something that people don't know a lot about, which is growing cotton and manufacturing textiles.
The heart knows what it wants. And then when it fills up, then, I think sometimes those roots just call you back. I think just the tradition and heritage of certain things. And it doesn't have to be full blown, like you were able to do because you had such an opportunity. But what a absolute joy of a journey that you were on to experience those things and then come back and bring all of those skills and gifts and experiences back to help with this business.
For sure.
Wow. So cool. So cool. So, as a prominent leader in the family business and in the business in general, where or how do you find support as a leader?
You know, um, I mentioned my husband earlier and how we kept up our relationship through a very long distance and kind of difficult schooling and going through his residency. We are both a backbone to each other. And you mentioned I have a growing family as well. I think without that support system and knowing that when I come home, I have a safe place and a home that is nurturing and supportive, I don't think I could be as successful in other parts of my life. So I give a lot of credit and credence to that. And I think we both feed each other with resources and different podcasts and books. And I was listening to this, I was reading this, and have you thought about this? I gather a lot of a lot of my strength and like I'm saying refurbishing, but refilling my cup, as you were saying, at home.
Mm-hmm. It's a nourishment for the soul, and another. I said blessing already, and I think I'm going to say it a lot. But
Mhm.
it's a blessing to have that partnership, that
Yes.
support system that you talk about. How amazing is that? So we're going to turn a little bit. There's some fun questions I always like to ask to keep some consistency because our audience loves best practices and
Yes.
intentional inspiration. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit, and the alarm clock goes off.
Mhm.
What does a day in the life look like for you? Are you structured with a routine? Are you spontaneous? Talk to us a little bit about what works for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, in our house and in my workplace, I thrive on structure and having a rhythm to every single day. And on, so I'm currently pregnant, so my days don't look as they normally do, but I'm going to describe a normal day outside of that first trimester of pregnancy. But I like to get up. I like to do a workout of some sort to get my headspace right, whether that's yoga or just a walk. And then I do my routine, I get my kids up. And I mean, it's very regimented. They know exactly what is happening. And it's so funny. My daughter last night was asking me, okay, so tomorrow we're going to do this and this and this. And yes, and like there's a security in knowing that tomorrow you get to do this and this and this.
Mm.
But so I get into work, emails, putting out any fires that need to be extinguished, and then there is time for some creative outlet, whether that is pursuing a new partnership or looking at a new design of something or furthering some sort of project. I think there always has to be time in the day for that. I always make time to leave. I pick up my kids every day, and we all have dinner together every night. And I'm sure that will change as they get older, but that is our routine. And we do bath and books, and that is a filling up of my cup, and that is extremely important to me. And when they go to bed, as they do at 7 o'clock every night, because we live on a schedule, I do another little workout for me, and then I log back on because I love what I do, and I have some quiet time, just catching up on anything that I missed during the day. And that is what Monday through Friday looks like. And I love it that way.
Awesome. Kudos to you. Okay, wait, backing up. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that's exciting in itself right there. We could just stop and this is a wrap. So congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you.
But the value in that consistency with the structure, especially for the kids and the family unit to
Hmm.
help you to, and, clearly it helps mom and dad and then, mom business. So that is fantastic. When you think about, you talked a second ago about different things that are in your day, whether it's business or personal, what tips could you share when you're pursuing a dream or a vision or trying to achieve a goal? You talk about, the times that you've got, you're putting out fires or different things
Hmm.
like that, or the creative opportunities, whether it's building relationships or design or new products. So, what works for you?
So one thing that I'm constantly working at, but makes a world of difference, is communication, and how, as my business grows and I need to delegate more, how do I best do that in a way that I can let things go, but still make sure that I have oversight? So we use Slack in our business and several channels. And I can see those communications going across, whether shipping is talking to customer service or vice versa, or the warehouse needs something from our plant in Tylertown. There's communication there. And then I also use a project management tool called Asana. And again, that is transparent to everybody. Everybody can see what I'm working on. They can see my schedule in Slack. We have a shared Google Calendar. Everybody puts, their meetings and things on that calendar. So to me, transparency is the basis of communication. And then just having things visible so people can see and kind of help you out. Oh, I see that you're in a meeting, but I need this answered. Can you call me right after that? Or, I mean, it could be that my meeting ended early and you're like, yes, I can call you real quick. To me, that makes a world of difference in my business and for me too. Like to have those project management tools and to have those communication tools so easily accessible. It shows up on my phone. I get notifications on my desktop. To me, that is my key to success right there, is staying organized and clear in communication with those tools.
There is a lot of talk, in fact, around Slack. There was a conversation, a group of women were having that anyways. You really do have an affinity for it. It works for you. It sounds like. I
Hmm.
think there's a learning curve for those that haven't tried it. Would you say that sounds fair?
I would say so. And, when I
Yeah.
first introduced it to my crew, I think they were a little skeptical, but
Uh-huh.
they've learned to love it. And any time that there's
Yeah.
been a he said, she said, or I needed this done, I can always go back and say, did you put it in Slack?
Ah.
Oh no, I sent that in a text message. You need to put it in Slack, you know?
Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. That's good to hear.
Uh-huh.
She's an advocate. It's working. Oh, I love that. I love that. Because again, it is about those best practices and tips and tricks. And because, the audience tunes in and they're seeing all these amazing things that you have going on and that you've achieved and that you've earned and you're working towards. And sometimes that behind the curtain helps too.
For sure, because it
Like,
is those little things that
yes.
drive you nuts.
Yes, that nitty-gritty that you think, If I just had that one component, like, how does she do XYZ?" So,
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that. Thinking through your Silhouette of Success journey, and I know you're just getting started, but was there a specific point in time, event, or key situation in your professional life that really forced you to take a monumental shift within your business or career? And with that result, positive or painful, how did going through that help you grow?
I mean, there are several when I look back at the course of things, but in 2018, I had my first child, my daughter, and so the business really started in 2016. So we were 3 years in. I wasn't making hardly any money, so there was no expendable funds for childcare, and so I ran this business and had my child home full time. And it was a very challenging year for many reasons. The business was growing, but not at the pace it needed to be. We were having growing pains, and my family was having growing pains, and that was the hardest year that I can recall. But out of that year came 2019, which I think was one of my best years. I learned so much and had so much motivation coming out of 18. I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about Christianity and a lot of how we transform, and it's always more than likely a transformation through suffering.
Mm,
And so while I don't look at 2018 and say suffering, but it was hard. But without that experience, I wouldn't have gotten to 2019.
mm,
And I wouldn't have recognized the needs to find the solutions to fill that void, um, and learn how to be a mother too. And I mean, that is hard. And I think anybody who has done that knows how hard it is. So that is the year I would pinpoint on my calendar as being the year that I kind of burned up a little bit and rose back up. You know what I'm saying?
yes. 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 I'm sitting here shaking my head. Um, it's beautiful what you heard through the other podcast, and how you just summarized it with transformation through suffering. That
Hmm.
can translate into so many different ways for whatever somebody's going through in the moment. And how you said it, the growing pains, and we might not see it at the time. And that's when it's so hard.
It is.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Who do you think or what has influenced you the most in this segment of your Silhouette of Success with Redland Cotton? Who do you think, or what can you attribute that to, and is influenced to keep you kind of having that momentum going
Yeah.
forward?
I think I and we and all of us that are building businesses right now are extremely blessed with the resources that we have around us to continue to learn.
Mm,
Um, and it shifts year to year of who I'm listening to. But I mean, I have a podcast stack that is deep, and I mean, just to name off a few, I Gary Vaynerchuk was the first person that I really latched onto and consumed a lot of content of his. Alex Hermosi, Ezra Firestone, all these business leaders, and even small guys that are running e-commerce podcasts that I listen to. I talked about 2019, and I have a background in advertising, but I didn't know how to be an e-commerce marketer and buy my own media. So I took my first class. I did it at night in 2019. And, I found out about that class through a podcast that I listened to while I was pushing a baby stroller and running with my daughter in 2018. That like, that is the stuff. And it's not one person or one thing. And it's not even somebody that I have met in real life. These are people that are sharing their experiences. And I am having the benefit of learning from them because we live in this great information age. So that's what I would say. And like the stuff that I listened to this year is a lot different than what I listened to last year. And it just changes by what I feel like my business needs.
It's awesome. Jogging with the baby stroller. That's when it all happens. It's in those moments we don't know that our heart and head are seeking it. And then we hear, that's it. That's it. And then your whole day lightens up, and golden nuggets for sure of just greatness. That is for sure. When do you feel your greatest sense of satisfaction?
I feel my greatest sense of satisfaction when I am at home with my family and I feel like they are able to understand and see what I am doing, and they are proud of me, and I'm able to provide a good life for them. That to me is where I get my will to live, my will to pursue, is building a life and a business and all of these things that my children can learn from and are proud of and are taken care of. That for me is where it's at. It's not been one moment where I've gotten a press hit that, was amazing. And those are powerful moments, but it's more so, when my daughter saw that and was like, oh, mommy's on TV, like that to me, that was that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that the business was on ABC. It was that my daughter saw it and thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, milady, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Is it time to sell your home? Build that dream home? Right size? Or are you ready to invest in real estate? Couture Real Estate Firm is a local female-owned independent brokerage laser-focused on services exclusively tailored to our clients' real estate goals. With our forward-thinking business model, we have a fully mobile, luxury real estate concept allowing convenience, flexibility, efficiency for our clients in style. Amber Weitzer, broker-owner of Couture Real Estate Firm, has over 20 years in the real estate industry and is a second-generation broker. She provides straightforward business practices, integrity, and intelligence with a commitment to a high-touch, consistent customer service experience. We take great pride in our reputation as a strong, referral-based brokerage. Discretion, tenacity, respect, and proactive business practices have earned Couture Real Estate Firm a loyal, repeat client business with a trusted global partner network. We strive for ultimate client satisfaction with successful results, doing it with class, consciousness, and a little avant-garde. In addition to serving our clients and vendor partners, we are extremely honored to be actively engaged in supporting the communities we serve by promoting small businesses, schools, and nonprofits. Real estate is direct sales business at its core, and we are highly trained sales professionals with the Mike Ferry organization, adding dimension to the industry. Passionate about customer service, dedicated to client satisfaction, and driven to achieve successful results for our clients. Call Couture Real Estate Firm today at 817-233-7239 to discuss your real estate goals.
All right, we are back. Okay, Anna, I'm watching the time. This time always comes so quickly. As we begin to wrap up here, we all crave great resources, which you have been talking about, and it's so fantastic. You mentioned a couple. Do you have a favorite book or genre, resource, or is there anything that maybe you have at the ready at your bedside, or is there anything that you'd want to share with the audience? I've got a couple, so we'll make sure we include those podcasts that you already shared. Is there anything else you can think of?
Yeah. And I'll just share what impacted me and changed how I did business or how I look at things. But the advertising podcast that I listened to while I was pushing my baby stroller was the Perpetual Traffic podcast. And I also listened to, I actually listened to this one as I was driving into work this morning, the Unofficial Shopify podcast.
Oh.
And then I read, and I mentioned him earlier, but I read Alex Hermosi's book, which is, I believe it's called $1 Million Offers, but essentially it's just talking about how to promote your brand and create an offer that people can't say no to. And then the Smart Marketer podcast. And then the podcast that I'm listening to and enjoying a lot right now is called the All In podcast. And it's these 4 guys in Silicon Valley. They're all like tech investors, but they give each one has very unique perspectives, and they give they're very honest and blunt with each other. And I mean, they touch on world politics, business, social issues, and it's like an hour or so once a week, and it's something I look forward to every week. Those are my top listens, I guess.
It's a lot of juicy resources.
Resources.
That is fantastic. Again, I say this all the time, but it is what it is. It's real. So I'm sitting here scribbling, even though I know we can replay this.
Oh, for sure. And I can send it in an email too.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm just like, okay. Because I think for me, sometimes I have to write it down to really make it an impact. And in that moment, oh, I love that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Talk about building the library here. That is awesome. Keeping the promise to share intentional inspiration with the audience. Do you have a piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share?
Yes, 2 things as I was just thinking about it. When I started feeling out of control in my business, I created a Google spreadsheet that is very much like a home budget. And even as our tech has evolved and our spend has evolved and the business has grown, I keep that spreadsheet consistent. I mean, I have these going back to 2018 where I can look at my spend year over year over year in these certain categories, and it just makes sense to me, and it allows me to know my business and make the best decisions for me. And I would encourage anybody to do that, is to make a budget and follow it and acknowledge it every month and do the work of inputting that data yourself so that you really have ownership of that business. And the second thing that I forgot to mention on the note of transparency and communication is my husband and I have a scheduled check-in almost every week, typically on Wednesday during lunch. And we will get on Zoom and talk to each other about what is coming up and what the week and month looks like. And that has been just vital for our relationship and our home life and even the business, and how I can communicate those needs to him, because I know, and most can relate, once you come home, you're you're pretty empty and don't have all of the communication resources that you really need to have those conversations. So that has been something that has been really, really good for us. Those are 2 things.
Love it. Thank you. Yes. You've got to have the skin in the game on that budget. And then I love the check-ins, weekly check-ins. That's fantastic. It helps, I think, set the tone and the expectations too. for each other and for the family unit. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to give you the stage again. All yours, all yours. You have me so excited. As we begin to wrap up here, where can our audience go to either find and connect with you or support you in your success? Share your socials, contact information, website. It is all about you.
Yeah. So if anybody would like to have some amazing American made bedding, bath towels, loungewear, you name it, they can go to redlandcotton.com. They can follow us on Instagram at Redland Cotton, Facebook at Redland Cotton, YouTube at Redland Cotton, and we're even on Twitter. That is where I'm active the most. I probably need to do a better job of promoting myself professionally, but most of my work is dedicated to those business social channels.
Perfect. And I have always the commercials, and we'll give a quick shout out to your dad. I know it's about you, but your commercials and the new one with you, I don't know how new it is. It's new to my eyes the other day, but I tell you what, it always stops me. I always just tune in and just listen, driving, or it just so it's making an impact. So thank you from our family to your family for everything you're doing with everything you're doing, supporting agriculture and the economy and local and made in America. So thank you. I just had to get that plug.
Well,
so value what you all are doing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, milady. Okay, Anna, thank you once again for sharing your time and your silhouette of success with us. It has been a genuine honor to visit with you and showcase you. And until next time, enjoy your day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.